Hello and welcome to your homework help video for decimal operations. I've circled the ones that I will be doing with you today. I've tried to hit every single operation so that you can kind of see how to do each of them. So let's just jump right into it. We've got number 2, and I've got a piece of scratch paper here. You definitely will want some scratch paper today for the homework. So it says that we have 2.5 into 45.5. So I'm going to rewrite this. Give me a lot of space. Okay, so the very first thing we got to do is we notice that there is a decimal on the outside here. So we're going to move it into and make it a whole number. So this is now 25, and whatever we do to the outside, we have to do to the inside. So if we move the decimal here, we're going to go ahead and move it up straight into our quotient or our answer. And now we have 455 divided by 25. Okay, and you kind of just have to ignore the little arrows that I've drawn. So, alright, so we're going to take 25 and we're going to see how many times it can go into 45. Well, I know that 25 times 2 is 50, so that's a little bit more than 45. So I know that 25 can only go in one time. So 1 times 25 gives me 25, and I'm going to subtract. So then we have 5 minus 5, which is 0, 4 minus 2, which is 2, and I'm going to go ahead and bring down my 5, 25 into 205. If you don't know this, you're going to have to guess and check. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to try 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. 150. Okay, I'm going to try to go up to 8 this time because I think it's going to be bigger than 7. So here we go. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. And that works out great. Because if we were to go to 9, it would be over 200, right? And we need to get to 205. So it can go in 8 times, or not perfectly, but without going over. So 8 times 25 gives us 200. Okay, we're going to subtract those. 5 minus 0 is 5. And now we don't have any more numbers to bring down, but we have a 5 here that still needs to be taken care of. So we're gonna do what we do when we have remainders like that, and we're gonna add imaginary zeros until we get no remainder. Or if it keeps going, we'll just go until the third number or whatever. So we're gonna bring down that imaginary 0. 25 can go into 50 2 times. So I'm going to put it over that 0, and we know that 2 times 25 is 50, and that leaves us with 18.2 for the answer to number 2. It really is super helpful if you do it on a different paper, because I like to really make sure that I'm lining up the numbers good, and also it just gives you enough space so you don't feel like you have to cram. Okay, let's move to number 5. Number 1 is just like the one that we did, and number 3 is also just like the one that we did. Just remember that it's set up like this. We've got 408. Remember, the first number is always in the division box, and then 1.2 on the outside. Okay, so that one's set up like that. Alright, let's move on to number 5. Remember that this little asterisk right here means times. So we're going to go ahead and do 3.128 times 2.45. Now remember that you don't want to line up the decimals when we multiply. We only line up the decimals when we add or subtract. Alright, so this is going to be our problem now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. 5 times 8 is 40. We're going to carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. 5 times 3, 15. Okay, now this is the trickiest part that some people forget. Remember that when we're done with the 5, we got to cross him off, and we're going to drop him and make him a 0 right there. And then we're going to go ahead and start with the 4 and multiply by all of those numbers. So we're going to go ahead and cross these little guys off too because we don't need those anymore. Okay, here we go. 4 times 8 is 32. We're going to drop the 2 and carry the 3. And we have 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 3, which is 11. So we're going to drop the 1, carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And then 4 times 3 is 12. Notice how I'm lining these numbers up really nice and neat. We don't want any confusion on what numbers we're adding at the end. Okay, this is another part where you guys tend to get confused. So we're done with the 4 and the 5. So that means we have to drop now not 1 0 for the 5, but 2 zeros, 1 for the 4 and now 1 for the 5. And again, I'm going to cross my little guys off. All right, now we have our 2 and we're going to times it by all of the numbers up on the top. We've got 2 times 8, 16, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add all of these up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Plus 6 is 13. Carry the 1. 5, 10, 15, 16. Carry the 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 2 is 6. And 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, now keep in mind we started with 3.128 and 2.45. If we were to get this giant number, that wouldn't be quite right, right? So we've got to make sure we are adding in our decimal into this answer. So we're going to look at our decimal, and we're going to circle the numbers that are to the right of it. So we've got 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So in total we have 5, which means we're going to start over here, and we're going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our answer is 7.66360. That one was kind of a long one, which is why I wanted to do that with you. So we've got 7.66360 for that answer. Remember, you should always box your answers. Sorry I didn't model that on the first question. Okay, let's do number 6. We've got 18.908, and we're subtracting this time, so we are going to line up the decimal. So I'm going to do minus, and I'm going to line up the 14 with the 18.76. Now if we have something missing, we're going to just pop a 0 in there to make it nice and easy for us. Alright, here we go. We have 8 minus 0, which is 8. 0 minus 6 we can't do, so we're going to borrow from this 9 and make the 9 an 8. Make this a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 8 minus 7 is 1. 8 minus 4 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then when we add and subtract, all we're doing is just bringing our decimal straight down into our answer. So this answer will be 4.148. And box our answer. Alright, moving on to the word problems. Here we go. It says a triangle has sides of length 15.463 centimeters, 11.34 centimeters, and 20.875 centimeters. What is the perimeter of the triangle? So when we find the perimeter of something, we're finding the outside of it. So we're going to add the outside of it. So that means we're going to add 15.463 And if we're going to add, we're going to line up our decimals, right? So we have 11.34. I'm going to line up the 11 with the 15 and then do 0.34, add a 0. And then I've got 20.875. Now we're going to add them all up. Here we go. 5 plus 3 is 8. 7 plus 4 is 11. Plus 6 is 17. Carry the 1. 8 plus 3 is 11. Plus 4 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Drop the 6. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. And 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. And then we're just going to drop, oh, I didn't line that up perfectly, but I'm just going to drop it straight down there. So the perimeter of the triangle is 47.678 centimeters long. All right, number 11 says you and three of your friends go parasailing for $1. Oh my goodness, I can't read today. $128.40. You split the cost evenly. How many people does that mean we're going to split the cost in? We're going to see how much each person pays. So this is the tricky part because it tricks us in here. It says you and 3 of your friends. So if you don't read this carefully, you could do this divided by 3 and you'd get the wrong answer, right? Because it's you plus 3 of your friends. So that's 4. So we're going to take 128.40 and we're going to divide it by 4. Okay. Here we go. Let me see if I can make this a little bit less blurry. There we go. Okay, so we don't have a decimal on the outside, so we don't need to move it or do anything, but we do need to move this decimal up into our answer so we can line up our numbers really nicely. Okay, 4 can go into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. We're going to subtract, got a 0, and then we're going to bring down our 8. 4 can go into 8 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. We're going to get 0 left over. We're going to bring down our 4. 4 can go into 4 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. And the last one, 4 can go into 0 0 times. 0 times 4 is 0. We end up with a 0 remainder. And we end up with each person paying $32.10. Okay. All right. I'm just going to read these ones to you and help you with the what operation it is, and then we'll move to the reflecting back. So it says an MP3 player can hold 350 hours of music. Each song on an MP3 player is about 2.5 minutes in length. About how many songs can the MP3 player store? Okay, so what this means is we're going to take the amount of hours that the MP3 player can hold, which will be, I'm going to get a new piece of scratch paper here. Well, I'll write it on here actually since I'm not doing this one out. So this is going to be 350, and you're going to divide it by however many minutes is in each song. It says it's about 2.5 minutes in length. So they're kind of just giving an estimate. Okay, so you're going to do that, and you're going to get an amount of songs that the MP3 player can store. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to go over this one quickly. When you move the decimal for this one to get a whole number, you also need to move it here, right? So when you move it here, we actually have to add a 0 there to stretch out the 350. Okay, so that's how that one is set up. Number 12, we have an international long distance phone call costs 79 cents per minute. How much will a 22-minute cost? So you're just going to take 22 and times it by 79 cents. Okay, that's how you're going to do that one. Don't forget to put the decimal back into the answer on that one. All right, now for the reflecting back. Remember, I just set these ones up for you. I'm not going to take my time and do all of them for you. If I see fit, I will help you with some. So we've got number 1, evaluate the expression. Write the answer in simplest form. This is a division problem, so you're going to want to do around the world first and then keep, change, flip. So we do 3 times 16. If you don't know that, you're going to have to write it out. So here we go. 3 times 6, 18. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we've got 48, and then we have to add 1 to it. 49 over 3. Okay, we know we have to keep this one the same. We have to change this one, and we have to flip that into a fraction. So we've got 49 over 3 that stays the same. We're going to change the sign to multiplication, and we're going to flip 14 into 1 over 14, okay, using its reciprocal. So that's how you're going to get your answer for number 1. Number 2 says evaluate the expression, write the answer in simplest form. Same thing here, you're going to go ahead and get your mixed numbers. You're going to do around the world. And then on this one, you don't do keep, change, flip because it's multiplication. So you're going to get your fractions, and then you're just going to multiply like normal. So if you like to multiply straight across and then simplify, or if you like to cross simplify, you can do that. Okay. Number 3 says evaluate the expression, write the answer in simplest form. Now this one looks a little tricky, but we have to just remember that whenever we see parentheses, we're going to do that inside. So very first thing is I'll turn these all into improper fractions. So we've got 6 times 5, which is 30 plus 1. So this is 31 over 6 divided by 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 8 over 3. Keep the parentheses there, and we've got times. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. And then we've got 11 over 3. Okay, so when you get these, you're going to go ahead and do cross simplifying if you can. If not, then you can multiply straight across, and then you'll have 31 over 6 divided by the answer to this question. So that means you'll have to do keep, change, flip, and then you'll have to cross simplify from there. Okay. Alright, number 4 says there are 3 pieces of pizza. How many 1/4 pieces of pizza can be sliced from the 3 pieces of pizza? So all this is a division problem. So we've got 3 over 1 to make that a fraction, and then we've got divide by 1/4, and we know we have to, sorry, let me move my paper, keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the first fraction the same, we're going to change the sign, and we're going to flip 1/4 using its reciprocal to do 4 over 1. And then you get your answer. Okay, number 5 says Sheila is baking a few cakes for a bake sale at her school. Each cake requires 2.5 cups of sugar. How many cakes can she bake if she has 8 1 cups of sugar? How much sugar is supposed to say is left over? So this again is a division problem. We're going to take how much sugar she has, so 2 1/2, and we're going to divide it by 8 and 1/3. So we're going to go ahead and keep around the world. So we have 4 plus 1, which is 5. So we have 5 over 2 divided by 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. over 3. Then we have 5 over 2, keep, change, and then we're going to flip the first fraction, or sorry, the second fraction. And now we're going to cross simplify. So it says, let's see, 5 can go into 25, so this will be a 1, that will be a 5. 2 and 3 are already simplified. So then we've got 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, my bad. This, we were not supposed to do division. We are going to take 2 1/2 and we're going to times it by, let's just say 2 for right now and see if that's enough. So we've got 2 1/2 will change into 5 halves times 2 over 1. So this is going to be, let's see, that's going to be 5. So let's see if 2 1/2, if we made 3 cakes, if she had enough. So 5 is obviously enough because she has 8 1/3 cup. So let's times it by 3. So we've got 5 halves times 3 over 1. We've got 15 over 2. Let's make it a mixed number. 2 can go into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14, and then you get 1/2, so that's 7 1/2. Let's see if we can do 4. So we're going to do 5 halves times 4 over 1. We've got 20 over 2, and that's going to give us 10. Now, this one, right, we're super 7 1/2 cups needed for 4 cakes, and 8 1/3 is all she has. So if we did any left over, we are gonna need some more flour. So we're gonna put, how many cakes can she bake? 4 cakes. And it says how many cups of sugar are left over. Well, we have 7 1/2, and if we add another half, that would be 8, right? So that's 1 whole that we added, and then it says 1/3. So if we had 1 1/3, that's how much she would have left over. So there's that one. That one was a little trickier. Okay, number 6, a perfect square. You're just gonna find a number that it's a doubles fact, right? So 7 times 7 is 49, so this would be a perfect square. But 7 times 8 would not be a perfect square because it's not the same number. So you've got to find a number that can multiply by itself to get here, and there may or may not be more than one answer. So you have to figure out which one is the perfect square. Describe and correct the error in writing the value of the product. Well, 7 to the 5th power is supposed to be 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. And they literally just did 7 times 5. So that's all they did wrong. So I'm going to write, they did 7 times 5, not 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. And then you'll need to figure out the second part, right? Correct it. So you're going to actually have to times these and then times it. So you'll get 49s for right here. So you have to do 49 times 49. And then when you get that answer, you're going to times it by 7, and that will give the actual answer. Okay, use GEMDAS to evaluate the expression. So remember, I love when you guys write the GEMDAS off to the side. It helps you follow the order of operations. So grouping first, right? Then you're going to stop and copy everything. And then you're going to do exponents, stop and copy. You're going to do multiplication or division depending on what comes first, right? From left to right, and then the same thing to addition and subtraction. Okay? Alright, this one was a little bit longer. Nice work. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And good luck. This is going to be due on Monday, but don't stress if you don't get it done. You will be able to get it turned in just whenever you have it done. Alright. Thank you.